Tale of the Origins of Santa. In days long past, as the Yule approached, each village would gather in the grove to decorate a tree to Odin, to recall the sacrifice he made for us. At the time of the turning of the sun, they would make sacrifice that Odin's hand be over them still, that this winter too would have an end. Each family would give offering, each member of the family attend, that the gods could see the praise done them, and give luck to all. In one village in the north was a child bright and fair, born with a clubbed foot. Though her hands were swift and sure, her voice was pure and sweet. Never had she attended Yule in the village, for she could neither ski nor snowshoe down from the fells. Her brothers would tell of the great tree, of the gifts, the songs, the jest, the roaring fire, the mirth and company, and she would smile. Yet in time she grew to fear as well, for the gods never saw her at Yule. They received the gifts of her craft, but not from her hand. She grew fearful the gods would think she scorned them and bring her ill luck. While her mother was quick to dismiss this, her father had other ideas. Taking his boys, his axe, and a sledge, he stalked off into the snow. That night he hewed a tree as tall as himself, and dragged it across the fells to the hall. He announced that this year there would be 2 trees, one in the village and one by their hearth. If his daughter could not go to Yule, Yule would come to his daughter. All the family thought it grand and set to help with a will. Mother and sister set about baking and crafting, brothers to carving and smithing. Soon the little tree had as many decorations as the great tree in the village would have, only smaller. When the Yule came, the family tromped through the snow to the village grove, leaving only the smiling daughter with a tree of her own to decorate and a horn of mead to toast the Yule. That night the offerings were given in grove and in hall. The gods watched from on high. Odin watched from his high throne to see his vigil was kept. His ravens thought and memory flew above. Odin's wolves word and deed coursed the secret places, looking for that which we would hide. Odin was pleased. Golden Frey and Freya, Tyr and Thor, and even Bauer Heimdall were pleased at the splendid offerings and the fine good spirits of the Yuletide. They each set their luck and blessings upon the land, but the night was not done yet. Word and deed still coursed the land, and they had found what was hidden. In a little hall upon the fells, Odin's wolves did lurk. Word's ears heard the Yule toast given. Deed's eyes saw the offerings bright by the lame child with the shining heart. Fast as the wind to their master they coursed, for a gift was his way. When Odin heard the tale of his wolves, he roared out his laughter at the thought. "A gift!" he shouted to his host. "A gift from my hand to hers." A swan-made cloak he enchanted with a whisper, and spun to the admiring hall. Bright byrnies that shone with moonlight on silver, swords that flashed like the lightning. Now sweet Frigga laughed at her husband. "What gifts are these for a child?" "They were good enough for my own children," spoke Odin, pointing to his Valkyries. "For a mortal girl, a mortal gift, a smile for a smile," Frigg demanded. "Peace," muttered Odin, seeing her swift rising ire. "I will find a true gift for this generous girl, and before the end of this Yule night." His boast being given, he strode to Valhalla's halls. Throwing wide the door, he stalked through the hall, keen eyes seeking one warrior, one hero, who could please little girls. A raven's quick caw drew the Allfather's stare to a fat old Jarl near the fire. With a muttered charm, the old Jarl scried in the fire, watching his great-grandchildren play. The battle-glad shouted his name with a roar. "Claus, attend me at once!" The old Jarl nigh tripped in his haste, catching his shield and his spear as he ran. "You'll not need your weapons this night," spoke the Allfather. "I've a girl I need gifted. It's my oath to sweet Frigga." With a rune in the hearth, he showed the lame girl in the steading that night. Claus nodded slowly and started to chuckle. "Yes, my lord, I know just the thing." Now the morning was nigh and the distance was far, so the Allfather gave him some help. He whispered to Claus the smoke charm that he knew, to enter and leave through the hearth. He took out his wand and summoned a mount, a reindeer from Frey's own herd, and graved bright runes on each hoof to dance on the wind. Off you go down bright Bifrost, but back by morn, it's my own word you redeem. On the long ride down Bifrost, Claus worked on the gift. Seaman's fingers wove quickly, and he hummed as he worked, for he dearly loved children in truth. The reindeer landed gently upon the roof beams, and Claus crept quietly to the smoke hole. Whispering the Allfather's charm, he turned to smoke and drifted down the chimney to the hearth. Whispering the counterspell, he swore as he materialized in the fire and had to put himself out, stomping his fine furs upon the ground. Alarmed, he looked to see if the little girl was stirring, but not yet. He looked where to place the gift, then he saw the tree. Well, that was well done and worthy indeed. Claus nodded gently. He would place his gift beneath hers then, under the tree. Back to the hearth he snuck, oh so quiet. So much fun was he having that he started to laugh, first chuckling, then laughing out loud. Ho, ho, ho! The little girl woke, alarmed at the laughing stranger in the hearth fire. He was dressed all in furs and seemed somewhat singed, a great full belly and beard, a mischievous grin, touching a finger alongside his nose. His fat turned to fog, and up the chimney he rose. The girl limped to the hearth to touch his boot print, then followed them round to a tree. Beneath the little tree was a brightly wrapped shape, and on it was graven her name. The wrap was a sash made of dark green and gold, and inside was a wonder indeed. Like a rag doll it was, but trimmed in fox fur. Its hair was braided like hers, but spun from dwarf gold. The dress was bright red, and cinched with a belt of gold links. The girl held it close and started to cry. It was the finest doll ever. When her family came home, she could not wait to tell of the tree and the gift-giving man. When the next Yule approached, each hall held a tree, the children all offering as sweet as could be. Odin just laughed, but Frigg was not amused. She swore her lord best keep this promise too. Claus! Roared Odin, his eye burning bright. Get yourself all ready, you'll have a big night. But Claus blanched Snow White. There were too many kids. But my lord, I've not presents for so many kids. But Frey heard his cry and sent him some help. He had dwarfs unemployed and excesses of elf. With a little assistance he got them all done. Now the problem was lifting them. The gifts weighed a ton. He cried to his lord, he's half loaded now, and collapsed on the floor. The gods all attended. It looked pretty grim. The reindeer was buried, with not all the gifts in. Frey gave a laugh and began to incant. He summoned more reindeer, and each Odin enchanted. He summoned not one, not two, three, or four, but just kept enchanting till he had matching fours. 8 of Frey's reindeer, and Thor's fine wood sleigh. Enough now, said Odin, to carry the day. Claus was now loaded and took to the sky. The sleigh handled nicely. Those reindeer could fly. The night passed so swiftly. His work went so smooth. He couldn't help laughing the whole Yuletide through. Smooth as it went, there remained now a problem. Word of this night had crossed over mountain. From Stockholm to Stuttgart, from the Ode to the Rhine, word quickly spread of this magic Yule time. There was nothing for it, as Odin decreed. Now Claus's career took a turn unexpected. He picked up his shield, his spear, and his helm, said goodbye to Valhalla, and headed to ground. His work had expanded, would soon take all year, but the noise was too loud for all Asgard to hear. The noise of his workshop was hard on his neighbors, so they moved to the North Pole to continue their labors. Claus and his crew have been working hard since, still working to honor the boast of their prince. His sleigh spans the globe in a mad Yuletide whirl. Such a large thing to come from the prayer of a girl.